I found my wife's secret on a phone she forgot to lock, her betrayal unfolded in vivid detail. I'll never forget that day, the day my world turned upside down. It started innocently enough, a typical Saturday morning in our small, cozy home. I was brewing coffee while my wife, Lisa, was still in bed, her favorite weekend luxury. The sun poured through the kitchen window, casting a warm glow, and I felt an odd sense of contentment. Little did I know, that blissful feeling would be shattered by the end of the day. As I prepared our usual breakfast of scrambled eggs and toast, my phone buzzed on the counter. It was a text from my brother, Jake, checking in. I replied quickly and glanced at Lisa's phone charging on the counter. It was unusual for her to leave it unattended, especially on a Saturday. Curiosity got the better of me. I picked up her phone, planning to remind her to bring it with her when she finally got up. But then I saw the notifications. Dozens of texts lit up the screen, all from the same contact, an unfamiliar name. At first, I told myself it was probably a work colleague. Lisa had been stressed with her job lately. But as I swiped through the messages, my heart sank. The tone was far too intimate for a simple work relationship. I hesitated, guilt twisting in my stomach, but I couldn't help myself. I opened the messaging app and began reading. "Can't wait to see you again," one text read. "Last night was incredible." "Did you tell him?" another message asked. I felt like I had been punched in the gut. I glanced over my shoulder, my heart racing. This felt wrong, invasive even, but I couldn't stop reading. The next few messages were worse. There were explicit details about their encounters, intimate things that made my skin crawl. They weren't just friends, they were lovers. I couldn't breathe. How long had this been going on? The realization hit me like a tidal wave. All those late nights she claimed were for work, all those times she brushed me off, suddenly made sense. I felt a mixture of anger and betrayal boiling inside me, but I forced myself to remain calm. I put the phone down and took a deep breath. I needed to confront her, but how? I couldn't just throw accusations at her. I had to gather more evidence first. The day dragged on as I acted normal, trying to keep my composure. Lisa finally emerged from the bedroom, her hair tousled and a sleepy smile on her face. "Morning, babe," she chirped, wrapping her arms around me. I forced a smile, but inside, I was a mess. "Hey, sleepyhead. Ready for breakfast?" I asked, trying to sound casual. "Of course. I'm starving." As we sat at the table, I kept replaying the messages in my head, each one a dagger to my heart. I forced myself to eat, but the food felt like sand in my mouth. After breakfast, I suggested a walk around the neighborhood, hoping the fresh air would clear my head. We strolled, exchanging small talk, but all I could think about was how I would confront her. Finally, as we returned home, I decided I couldn't wait any longer. "Lisa, can we talk for a minute?" She paused, looking slightly apprehensive. "Sure, what's up?" I led her to the living room, my hands clammy as I took a deep breath. "I need to ask you something. I saw some messages on your phone." Her face instantly paled. "What do you mean?" I held up her phone, feeling my heart pound in my chest. "I mean these messages. Who is Ryan?" The color drained from her face as I read the text aloud. "Last night was incredible." "Wait, let me explain," she stammered, panic flashing in her eyes. "It's not what you think." But I was already shaking my head, my emotions spiraling out of control. "Not what I think. It sounds exactly like what it is. You've been seeing him behind my back. Please, just let me explain." I stepped back, feeling dizzy. "Explain what?" "How you've betrayed me." "Listen. It was just one mistake. It didn't mean anything." I was feeling lost, and I thought I could find myself again. My heart sank further. So this was a cry for help. Cheating was the answer. "I never wanted to hurt you. I swear." I turned away, my mind racing. "You've already hurt me, Lisa. This isn't something you can just brush off. I can't believe you would do this." "I made a terrible mistake," she pleaded. "Please, just give me a chance to make it right." Her tears fell freely, but I felt numb. All the love I thought we had felt like a distant memory, I don't know if I can trust you again. I'll do whatever it takes, she cried. Please, don't leave me. I took a step back, trying to process everything. I need time to think. I left the house, the weight of her betrayal heavy on my chest. I drove aimlessly, feeling lost. My mind was a whirlwind of anger and hurt, but also confusion. We had built a life together, shared dreams, and now it felt like it was all crashing down. Later that night, I returned home. Lisa was sitting on the couch, tears streaming down her face. She looked up at me, her eyes pleading. Please, don't leave me. I can change. I'll go to therapy, I'll do anything. I don't know if I can forgive you, I replied, feeling like a stranger in my own home. Just give me a chance. I wanted to believe her, but the betrayal was too fresh. I felt like I was walking on shattered glass. Days passed, and we barely spoke. I tried to return to some semblance of normalcy, but every time I looked at her, I was reminded of the lies. I decided to stay for a while, mostly out of uncertainty. Was it possible to rebuild what we had? Eventually, we sat down to discuss our next steps. Lisa was desperate for my forgiveness, her tears a constant reminder of her remorse. I'll do anything, I swear. I felt torn. Part of me wanted to scream, to demand answers, but another part of me wanted to give her a chance. How can I trust you again? I'll let you see my phone whenever you want. I'll be completely transparent, she offered, hope shining in her eyes. I nodded slowly, unsure. I don't know if I can forget what you did. Weeks passed, and Lisa kept her promise. I watched her, scrutinizing every message and phone call. But with each passing day, my anger morphed into a dull ache. Then, one evening, as I was scrolling through her messages, I noticed a new text. It was from Ryan. My heart raced as I read it. Can't wait to see you again this weekend. My stomach dropped. I confronted her immediately. Why is Ryan texting you? Lisa's face fell. It's nothing. I told him to stop. But the evidence was clear. I couldn't ignore the sinking feeling in my gut. This isn't over, is it? She broke down, admitting she hadn't fully severed ties with him. The trust one had tried to rebuild shattered in an instant. I realized then that I was fighting a losing battle. I couldn't keep putting myself through this pain. I packed my bags that night, heart heavy with the knowledge that our marriage was over. I'm leaving, I told her, my voice steady. Please, don't. I'll change. I'll make it work. But it was too late. I walked out the door, feeling a strange sense of relief mixed with heartbreak. In the following weeks, I focused on healing. I distanced myself from memories of her, clearing out our shared spaces, and finding a new apartment. The pain lingered, but I knew I had made the right choice. As the months went by, I learned to navigate life on my own. I found strength in my solitude, rediscovering parts of myself that had been overshadowed by the chaos of betrayal. Yet, occasionally, I still catch myself looking over my shoulder, half expecting to see Lisa or Ryan lurking in the shadows. The memory of her betrayal haunts me, but I remind myself that I'm stronger than I was before. Trust is a fragile thing, and I'm still learning to build it back up, one day at a time.